Achievements are our valued actions, so they're just normal actions, but we put place an emphasis of importance on them, and it's usually in a positive light because it's a case of where you have accomplished a particular thing, and it may not be easy to accomplish, and that's what makes it so worthwhile to achieve, and that's why people place a huge emphasis on achievements in life because we see these actions as very beneficial to us and possibly to others as well. That's why we want to make a huge pile of these accomplishments for ourselves, and then that will improve our self perception. So, achievements are pretty much based on what we value. So, if you're a chess player, then beating a pretty good chess player will constitute as a good achievement. And if you're maybe that's not the case either. Maybe if you're a chess player, you don't place a huge emphasis on beating others in chess. You just see other things as an achievement. It could be more recreational. So achievements are very much in proportion to how much of an emphasis you place on the importance of something. So if you're an athlete, then you probably see winning a gold medal in the Olympics as a huge achievement. But if you're just someone who plays sport for fun, then you're not going to care so much about it, and it wouldn't even be a big achievement for you. Or maybe it might, but it's not a big enough achievement that you want to actually put in the years of hard work that it would take to get that. So you don't place objectively as much of an emphasis on that achievement as an athlete would. So it really depends on your level of dedication and your commitment as well. So what determines our achievements is the things we value, and as I've said, so if you value watching TV for 9 hours, then you're going to see that as an achievement. If you don't value that as an achievement, then you probably don't actually value the thing itself. So what we value determines our achievements. Our achievements do not determine what we value, and it's that whole thing again of placing an external emphasis on something not having as much of an effect as placing an internal emphasis on it. So that's why it's much better to place something we actually want to do into our list of achievements on our bucket list or whatever, because that way the achievement will actually be worthwhile, valuable, and more fulfilling. So when you achieve stuff, you generally feel more worthy, and just like you're more fit for the future. So if you get a good grade in something, then you probably feel pretty good at that subject, right? And that is an achievement, and it's especially good if you do value it. The thing is, a lot of people have these imposed achievements on them, and then they end up hating the idea of chasing after the achievement because they don't internally want to do it. It's just the external motivation again, which is not evergreen. It's just not going to last as long as the internal motivation. That's why your sense of worthiness and self-esteem does in a way rely on the whole internal achievement thing. That's why I think that achievements are best used internally and where you pick them, not where you let other people to pick them. But that's kind of obvious at this point. I mean, we all know the whole story about the person who is forced to do well in something, maybe forced to play 20 musical instruments at once and pick up a bunch of martial arts as well. You know, it's not really that hard to avoid, and it's kind of like dodging a bazooka versus dodging a bullet. It's much easier, you know. So we also feel more of a better perception of competence about ourselves, and in that way we're gonna be more fit to take on these activities because there is a slight actual placebo thing, and it kind of works in the sense that if you do believe you're better at something, then you will probably be a bit better because you're just not as nervous. I think that's the only effect. I'm not a huge advocate of the I don't know how is a placebo effect just belief makes something come true. I don't believe you can manifest something out of nothing, but I do believe that there is some kind of correlation between your belief and your performance. So achievements are normally used to be reputable. So usually if someone wins a race or something, they get a good reputation as being the fastest person around, and that makes sense because accomplishing that kind of achievement does say a lot about your ability and your athletic performance. So it would only make sense that achievements do highly affect your reputation, but it does matter how many people that achievement is exposed to. So what if you only raced against one person and that one person doesn't talk to other people, and you're also not the kind of person to share your own achievement? That means that nobody else is going to really know, and that's okay, because we don't just want to achieve things to improve our reputation, but our reputation can steadily improve, and that could be another external motivation that we don't want to fall into. It's a bit of a trap, you see. If you fall into external motivation, then it's not going to summon up as good results as just the internal motivation. So definitely don't only go after the things that will make you popular or really accomplished or seen as posh or anything. And another aspect of this reputation that's been affected by the achievements is certificates. And certificates are nice to get, and they're a good signifier of performance. A lot of people go to college just to get a certificate, however, and I think that's a bit of a waste of time if you're only going after the degree, because you could just get the skills somewhere else and it won't cost as much or take as much time. But a lot of workplaces these days are looking for degree certificates, and that's another aspect of achievement that's kind of seeping into our world. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, a lot of people haven't put too much thought into this. To be honest, I don't think I have either, but I do know that you don't just need a certificate to get by. If you can show that you are pretty good, then that alone can be good enough for the person to accept. And I think that probably goes more often than people assume. People get very afraid when they haven't gone through college and went through the system and all to get the achievement done. So don't rely too much on certificates. Look at your own skills and abilities, and that way you're going to actually ensure you can provide a quality service before you know how to show off how good you are. So our community, actually I'll go on to the force-fed achievements. So I did speak about how we all know the story of the stressed teen who's getting too much pressure on them by their parents, and that is a bad thing because obviously external motivation is pretty bad. But another thing about force-feeding achievements is maybe embarrassing someone in front of their family by saying that they did really good on this very niche thing. So like, oh hey, my little brother played this entire video game the whole way through, but you tell that to all their friends who are book readers. So that might be a bit of a force-fed achievement in the opposite way. So you're just telling these legendary stories about them, but they're kind of embarrassing. So you don't want to force feed achievements in that way. And another point is that our community determines what we achieve. So a really big aspect of achievement is the quantity of emphasis the community places on the achievement. So there was a man, I think he might have been mentioned in the book Atomic Habits, and he had 3 daughters and he taught them how to play chess, and therefore the environment was a very strong advocate for playing chess, and therefore playing chess and winning games in chess was seen as a big achievement, and therefore every single child ended up going on to be a very good chess player. So the community really determines what achievements are valuable, and it's then going to actually affect the amount of achievements that are performed in that area. So definitely, if you're going for a particular achievement, then align yourself into that community. And that is pretty vague advice, but say you want to become a good fighter, then don't be fighting against weak people. Fight against people who have always been encouraged to knock other people out. Go to a judo club, and then, I don't know if judo focuses on not knocking people out, but on fighting in general, you know what I mean. Go to a karate club if you want to fight against karate people, because then you're going to actually get better at it, because they have focused on the achievement in that category. So align yourself with the right community. And the last thing I want to say is applying this in your own life. So I said before that your sense of self-worth and esteem is very much determined by the achievements that you know of yourself and how much you value them, and that will affect your self-perception. Therefore, it's a good idea to list out your achievements every so often. You don't need to force yourself to list every achievement you've ever known, but the ones that you're most proud of, you probably do have already a clear picture of which achievement you're going to write about then. So yeah, pretty much focus on that. Just list out your achievements. You could do it every day. I did it every day for a month or two, and then I stopped because I don't need to do it anymore. I already know I've achieved what I can, and we can only focus on what we can do, if you get what I mean. So there's also long and short-term achievements, and longer term achievements are normally a bit more valuable. Short-term achievements are probably a bit more vain, so drinking a whole 6 litres of water within an hour, that's probably more of a vain achievement than I don't know, building a business up to 8 figures a year. Alright, so if you have any more ideas, let me know.